Good evening, Belchertown. Welcome to the November 18th, 2025 meeting of your planning board. Tonight we've got a rather full agenda. We've only got one meeting this month, so we've got everything crammed into this one meeting. At 7 o'clock, we've got a timed event for Pepper Ridge subdivision. They're asking to release lots that are held under covenant for the subdivision. At 7:15, we've got a request to extend the special permit for earth removal for Mr. James Hayward, and I see he's here tonight. At 7:30, we've got Attorney Tom Reedy of Bacon and Wilson for site plan amendment for the Cutchins program property on Old Bay Road. Then we've got untimed events on A&R, which is a minor subdivision plan for Shea Avenue for Mr. Stebbins and Miss Brunell, or it's Miss Stebbins and Mr. Brunell. I haven't been able to.
You had it right the first time.
I had it right the first time. I don't remember which one is which. Then we've got an A&R for George Hannum Road for an applicant, Champagne Hill. That one had been before us a couple of meetings ago, but it had been withdrawn because they wanted to have further discussion on where the lines were going to be. A review of a right of first refusal where we're not making a decision, but we're making a recommendation to the select board for David and Valthea Fry for more lots on Cold Spring Road. And we've got a second right of first refusal for Lyme Quabbin LLC for a parcel on Amherst Road to remove a limited piece of property from a larger lot. Then we had planned to discuss a site plan approval for 122 Federal Street, where the package store and gas station is. And then a discussion on the regulations coming down from Boston for the permitting clean energy facilities process, whereby the state is going to be taking over the permitting for the larger size solar projects, particularly with regard to battery storage. And then we're going to have a discussion on the fiscal year 26 tax classification that was presented to the select board 2 weeks ago, where they look at the tax classification and the tax load for the entire town. And we're just going to discuss that for purposes of things that might pertain to our look at the zoning regulations. We'll have additions with the consent of members for things that are non-voting. The minutes from last meeting, bills, and I don't think I saw bills. Oh, no bills. The town planner report and members report. It being 7 o'clock or thereabouts, we'll look at the subdivision Pepper Ridge and the request to release lots. Now, we had held a number of lots in covenant, which means that we had basically a lien on them, so they couldn't be sold. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lots that were held pending the completion of the subdivision, and it's down to a punch list now with the remaining amount of money estimated at $1,000 for the work that needs to be done. And I saw that the attorney for the applicant, Mr. Pill, is here, Michael Pill, and Mr. Goyette, who's the principal of the corporate entity that holds title to the property. You want to just give us a brief explanation of what you're looking for?
Yep. Also here is Philippe Bravo from Marlobeck.
From the engineer?
Yeah, he's the engineer from Marlobeck Associates, and I think he can do the talking at least to start.
Yep. Good evening. My name is Philippe Bravo, Marlobeck Associates, project engineer. Here, Joe just said, Mr. Goyette, Landform LLC, and its counsel, Mr. Phil. So we are here tonight to request the release of the covenants on the lots that are held. We have done an as-built survey as-built survey of the subdivision, Pepperidge Estates. I believe everyone's not familiar with the subdivision, it's off of Springfield Street. And, you know, partially, or the roadway's been constructed for a number of years at this point. We have been in close coordination with DPW and Doug through the planning department. You know, through the process, we have identified a number of punch list items to kind of bring the project into compliance with the design plans. So one of those is the repaving of the roadway. So the roadway has been completely milled and repaved. All of the structures have been reset to the new grade of the pavement. And on top of that, the punch list items included, you know, maintenance of the stormwater basins, some invasive species treatment, you know, throughout the site, some vegetation management within the cul-de-sac area, sidewalk maintenance in areas that needed it. But all of those items have been coordinated with DPW, and we have, you know, through working with Linda Leduc and Chris Lorenzo over at DPW, you know, going on a number of site visits, they have acknowledged that their punch list items have been addressed. There are two outstanding items, which are more maintenance items to be done in the spring that they requested that Mr. Boyak do, which one would be one more invasive species treatment, an herbicide treatment to treat knotweed that's around the basin area and in the cul-de-sac area, as well as one more maintenance mowing of the stormwater basins. And that's where the $1,000 comes from. We have a quote from the contractor that Mr. Goyette has been using to do the work up to this point for, you know, $750, but, you know, in a perfect world, just hold $1,000 to address those items in the spring and release the covenants that are outstanding, that are held on the remaining lots. So to this point, we have completed the Form G, the Form F, and also today completed the Form F2, which is the performance secured by deposit of money, which I think is the mechanism to hold the $1,000 for the work in the spring. So I filled that out. Doug, I have it here. However you want to handle it, we could go through that process now.
Signed it?
He hasn't signed it, but I'm not sure he's looked at it. But it's right here, and it's all filled out. It's pretty basic form. But that's really what we're looking at. Release of the covenants on the lots. You know, based on the work that's been done within the subdivision to bring it into compliance with the design plan.
With the money security, and Bob Goya tells me he thinks that somewhere, somehow, the town may have $3,000, but he's also got a check with him tonight, so whatever amount of money you want, he's prepared to write you a check so that you have, you know, cash on the barrel as plenty of security for the work remaining to be done. I just want to be clear. We're not asking you to give, you know, release the lots and not have cash on the table for the work remaining to be done. I just want to be clear. We're not asking you to give, you know, release the lots and not have cash on the table to take its place.
Did you get your money back?
No,
okay.
That 3,000 sitting in town.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I'll follow up on that.
But if you want to use a portion of that for tonight, I have zero problem with that.
Yeah, it's probably a paperwork accounting type issue.
Fine, you'd rather get a check
Keep it
now?
clean, yeah.
Very good, however you'd like to do it.
Yeah.
So I guess what we're saying is, it's always dangerous in the capitalist system to say name your price, but you know we're trusting in your all sense of reason on that score. My understanding though of the subdivision control law and your regulations is that we can do cash, and that actually it's us who have the option. And given what the lots are worth, I guess what we would respectfully submit is if you've got cash, you know, for $1,000 worth of work, I mean, you all tell us what you think would be an adequate security. In other words, the lots are worth, I don't know, 100, and Mr. Goya thinks.
Oh, I know they're worth a lot more.
Very valuable. Right, and so he would like to be able to start selling the lots, frankly. And what we're suggesting is, you know, we're gonna trust in your sense of reason on the cash, but for $1,000, you know, we're hoping it would be a lot less than, say, the $150,000 value of a lot. And obviously, he'd rather have his money back. And so, you know, what amount? Do you want us to suggest something, or you want to suggest? And I mean, he's got it. He's good for it. Okay, I know that.
I don't like holding small amounts in escrow, because what happens is people get busy and they don't come back and pick it up. And then, you know, because they'll say, look, it's not worth my time for $1,000 to come back here and work on this. And then they say to the town, well, you take it, it's $1,000, we thought it was worth $1,000, you can do it. And that's what we want to avoid. We don't want the town to have any responsibility here, administrative or otherwise, to complete this project, even for $1,000.
Understood. I think I've demonstrated that I'm prepared to do everything the right way, with the paving, with everything that's you've seen happen over there, and that I will come back with the $1,000.
Is this okay?
If you want to do a 4X and want a $4,000 check, but to hold a $150,000 lot for $1,000 worth of work is
Sure gets your attention.
It's tough. It's really it's beyond attention worthy, right?
We'll make it 5,000. And in other words, what we're talking about, I think you can probably be sure. I mean, actually, we both showed up at 6, so we got to know each other. You know, no. The point is, for $1,000 worth of work, he's not going to kiss off 5,000. Excuse my language. He's not going to forego or forfeit $5,000. And I think, you know, you got then 5 times the estimated amount. And I would hope you would all consider that serious. And, you know, clearly, I think to him as well as me and most of us, and if an amount ends in 1,000, we're no longer talking about, hey, and for $5,000, he'll come back for it.
Yeah, I'm very sympathetic to that, but you do remember that we've had some attention getting problems in the past, you know, on the subdivision. So that sort of leads us to think that maybe we need an amount of security that's going to keep your attention.
Okay,
I've got other people on the board, though. I've been having
I do want to say he's just okayed 10,000. I think that's probably his top dollar, but he'll put 10,000. He'll write you a check tonight for $10,000. He ain't going to walk away from that, and he isn't going to forego doing the work. And I think that's part of a recognition that he wants to make it right, and in terms of there having been issues in the past.
The other, go ahead.
I'm not seeing our DPW director's letter in here that was in an earlier batch of for the package. Were those the only 2 things on that list, Doug? Because she was very specific about before the total sign-off happened, that certainly the invasive species treatment was one of them.
And
was
mowing the basins.
Mowing the basins. And we're talking about the spring, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, would keeping one lot?
They're going after knotweed. I think there's probably more knotweed in my yard than there is out of that subdivision. It's all over the town. I don't even understand why they're going after it, but that's their decision.
My position, though, is I think although we've had
issues very specifically with this particular subdivision and poor response and difficulty in communication and et cetera. The recent work and effort and the coordination and cooperation with DPW, with Chris Lorenzo, with getting all this work done, I think speaks well with me. And I'm not inclined to say an entire lot needs to be held in covenant for this amount. I am in agreement that it has to be something that wouldn't be so insignificant in cash that somebody would say, well, I'm not going to bother going after it, you take care of it, because we don't want the town to have to take care of the knotweed or mow the stuff or whatever. That's your job.
Understood.
So it has to be an amount that you will, in fact, honestly, next spring, take care of it. But based on the more recent cooperation and coordination, and being able to start moving on the sale and the development of the properties, which would also help the town. My inclination would be not to hold a lot in covenant, but rather go for a significant enough cash that it's a legitimate, I will be back in the spring to collect my money.
Nobody's going to walk away from $10,000.
I was at the meeting where the creative teamwork happened around the paving, and I think our DPW was really pretty helpful.
Oh, incredibly.
And, I know they were very concerned about the invasive species, and I know that was going to be a roadblock for getting it on the town meeting warrant for the acceptance of the road. So, and we don't want to be taking care of plowing a property that is not an accepted town road. That's my concern is to be a little conservative.
So to your point, Linda, with Linda and Chris, we did address all the knotweed. There's one spot on one, and what do you call that one little?
A little swale down by the cul-de-sac where the inlet.
It's one.
On the left of the lollipop?
So, correct. 2/3 of the way around, right there at the riprap, it is one concentrated area. So it is the remainder that they were concerned about. It has 100% being addressed, so that you're comfortable. And I know if Linda was here, I would say the same, or Chris, and they would say the exact same.
That it
has been addressed. However, she wanted to be conservative and make sure, because I believe it can be applied twice a year, spring and fall, and we did do the fall application, and she wanted it again in the spring.
Yeah.
So do you have it is that weather dependent, or is it a specific date so that you don't?
Season dependent.
Mowing season. Growing season dependent, okay. Just because we're usually looking at a March deadline for getting things on the town warrant.
Yeah, you can get it on the warrant, and that'll get done probably April.
I would think it's April.
Town meetings in May, and then you can sign off and send it along. So in terms of the timing, everybody seemed to think that worked out fine.
Let me ask a flip question in support of the covenant, and that is, you're asking for 7 lots to be released.
I am.
It is December. I mean, almost December.
Yep.
Between now and May, how many of those 7 do you think you'll actually sell?
It's a hypothetical.
I realize that. So I guess what I'm asking is the difference.
To build on them.
The difference between building on 6 versus building on 7 in the next 5 months.
I could have a customer that wants the 7th, right? So it would be a no-go. If someone's looking to build, they're looking to purchase and start planning and break ground. So, it would, be potentially devastating for me. 150, not $150,000 loss, but could be $800,000 loss.
And the law does give us the right to choose.
understand.
To choose.
It's his decision of cash or property, so.
And that's because we want you all to feel good about it. That's why, we're suggesting $10,000 for a $1,000.
And Philippe actually has a bid for $750. That's what my guy's gonna charge.
But who's counting?
All right, we're going to move along. Mark, did you have anything that you want to address on this issue? Yeah.
I'm not particularly concerned. The one thing I am concerned about is precedent going forward. Do we want, haggling over how much bond to hold versus property in each instance? I don't know if that's a concern or not with others.
In terms of
going forward with other subdivisions.
should we hold, you mean,
Yeah.
what, the multiplication factor? should be?
Yeah.
10 times the amount is a pretty good precedent.
I don't know if we would want to hold 10 times the amount in all cases, but you have such a small amount here in order to get it up to something that we can see. And we think it's, substantial and motivating, that we needed to multiply it a little harder. Leonard, do you have anything?
No.
I think the consensus is that we're going to move the money. That's Attorney Pill is insisting. The only discussion then is the amount, and 10,000 I think is an adequate amount. Does anybody have a problem with that amount being either too much or too little? We'll take your 10,000.
So, how should you make the check payable? Town of Belchertown? Okay. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
All right, I'll make a motion then that we approve the application for partial relief for the Pepper Ridge subdivision for lots B, D, F, I, J, L, and N. It's an N or an M? I think it's an N. Which is all of them. Can I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Seconded by Leonard. Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
I just had one quick question.
Yeah.
In regard to the signing and the recording of the as-bills, is that
Oh, I gotta sign that right now. Yeah.
the plan?
The Mylars.
Yeah, Mylars, yeah, so, yeah, you guys can sign those. We'll need that other form too.
Yeah, the Form F2, yep, I'll leave that here. I have to change the amount on it.
Do I just need a signature there?
Get out of the way.
Do you need to sign this at all?
Find anything? We would really appreciate,
I need to put 10,000 in here.
yeah, sorry. I think we needed to check the box in front too. Appreciate having this on the warrant in May to have the street accepted as a town road.
Yeah, are we signing both?
I don't want to sound like we don't appreciate the effort that you've made in the last year to get
Thank
the
you.
subdivision
No,
squared
thank
away
you. Thanks
and
for your help.
and have it presentable. We did have some neighbors coming in expressing concern over a lack of progress on the subdivision for a long time there, and I'm sure that they're much relieved at the activity that's been going on the last 6 months in particular, to get everything ship-shape so that you can be part of our community.
Thank you.
You are going to be maintaining it, though, over the winter, right?
Yeah.
You're doing the snow plowing over
No,
there.
the town was. There's 7 houses that are there.
That are in.
Yeah, I've paid a little over $100,000 on the other lots to the town for for zero ask. Just so you're aware, I'm 100% current. I've always been current, So, yes.
Dan, I think we signed this in the wrong spot.
Um,
Since there's two Mylars.
There's two Mylars.
Yeah, the signature line for this one was here.
All right,
For this
yeah.
one.
Sign it, sign them both.
Both?
Subdivision.
All right.
I'll get it when it
Okay,
comes
thank
back
you.
this way.
Yeah.
Following you, signing
Yeah.
the wheels.
I don't know. We'll just go with this. This should be fine. I think.
Sorry to keep you.
Yeah, because the signature pad for this one was down here. We signed it there.
Pardon?
Signature pad for
Is
this
it easier
thing.
for me to
Yeah.
go over there, or is it gonna set?
We're gonna slide.
Is that going to be okay?
Yeah.
All right.
And some of these folks dug and
Oh,
been
heck.
doing this.
Yeah,
for
that's what I'm saying.
It was,
Yeah.
You have one of the most sophisticated planning boards
Doug,
part of the state.
yeah,
And Dan being a lawyer helps too.
Board. I did the signature area for both.
hey Doug, I got a problem here. If I could get you to
Here,
look at
Taylor,
this
it
real
is.
quick. There was two places to sign. I was looking at the Mylar with the lines coming through this top one, that's where I started the signatures. It was, the signature line is down here. Does it matter? And then the second one we're getting, it's signed in the right spot.
Gotta wait for the Mylars.
We signed this one down here too?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just-
sign it again.
All right.
So where do you have
In
it?
fact, you could X out an initial,
Why? You got
your
it
first
flat.
one.
I'm just gonna leave it on there.
Why? Turn up this overtime. I hear Tom
You're signing in two different places?
Two different
Yep.
sheets.
On the first one at the bottom, and then
a while. And you still don't have any gray hair. Who's your hairdresser?
Today
Thank
is
you very much. I was complimented another lawyer on her red hair, and she smiled and said, I can give you the name of my hairdresser.
Wouldn't look half bad with my hair.
This one is up here.
Oh, hence the confusion.
Thank you all for your patience.
This is the performance guarantee secured by money.
You're still waiting for the Mylar? Yeah, okay.
And okay, there we go.
Just gonna put the pad under there.
Oh, very smart. And then this is the performance.
We're worse than doctors.
Maybe double it. Okay, our next timed event is 7:15, request for extension of special permit for earth removal for Mr. Hayward, being 7:15 or thereabouts. Mr. Hayward, you want to tell us about where you are on things?
Well, we're just on the one last section, but I'm looking to go till July 1st because I'm gonna need to screen all the loam for the whole project and then be able to use the overburden on reclaiming the slope and just finish it all up.
So the
I'll
only
be
thing,
done before July, but I want to be sure, weather permitting, and because there's quite a bit of loam there.
to go into where the entrance
Open
is,
area,
in the
yeah.
back,
Yep,
where you're working is in that back corner, that
Yep.
dog leg in the back,
yep.
where the detention basin is in the
So
back.
there's one there, we're gonna put another one in halfway in the middle. He wants to have one on the lot to the right now. So we're gonna be digging one over there once we get that back corner all reclaimed. I'm gonna be putting the wood chips on it before this week, so. And then we're gonna dig that last retention pond there. There's one already over on the left in the front corner. we're gonna dig another one over here on the right. For the guy that's buying the property from me, you know?
The slope along the back has
Yep.
all been moderated. It's all
Yeah,
at the
I'm
correct
over
slope
to
now?
where the last bit of sand's coming on now. I have that all filled back in. We're gonna be getting ready to wood chip it by the end of this week. I should be over, all wood chipped and done with that whole lot over to where the last like 100 feet of slope's gotta be addressed, get it filled down, and then screen and loam and take the byproduct from the loam after and put it on the slope to get rid of it so we don't have to haul it off, you know?
No more,
And then wood chip it all.
no more materials coming out of there then?
Not really, no, just the
This is-
retention pond. He wants to be sure there's no material left, and he wants me to have a permit, because he doesn't want to do it under building permit.
Yeah, and we've expired
Right.
here, you know, technically, so we need
Yeah,
to,
so that's why
Continue.
we're looking to go to July, yeah, but I'll be done before that, because I want to get, the quicker I get done, I tell him that, I get sold.
and there's one more lot to sell,
Two,
two.
he's gonna put 2 houses back there. I think he talked to Doug about doing a private drive instead of coming with 2 drives, 2 different drives, but he's gonna come in before you guys.
Come in
for
on a
that.
common drive, you
Yeah,
mean?
common drive, yeah.
Well, that would make more sense,
Yeah,
it's already there.
Wetlands and everything down there, and they want to stay away from that. And there's plenty of room out front for a common drive to come in now, you know?
I think everybody's been out there before, you know, we're familiar with your project. Does anybody have any other questions for Mr. Hayward or concerns on hopefully the wrap-up of
Oh, it's
this?
gonna be wrapped.
I think this is the only earth removal permit left in town right now, isn't it?
No, the one on Federal Street.
Yeah.
The former
Magic.
Carl's Excavating.
Carl's Excavating. Oh, yeah. How could I forget that? They were just
So
here.
the 100-foot of slope that needs to be finalized
Yep.
will be done before winter or next spring?
I'm working on it now, what I'm trying to do, but I can't put the screen alone, it's too cold already. So we're gonna do it in the springtime, because he wants everything, all the loom, we're still getting the loom off the top also. So once I get that done, but I won't be able to finish everything till springtime.
The reshaping of the slope,
Yeah,
even though you're making just piles of loam that you can't process, will that be done before winter, or will that be next
depending on the
spring?
weather, because I want to get everything that we got done. On the right side, I've got to regrade that, I'm gonna work on that tomorrow, coming over to where the last bit is. I want to be able to wood chip this, and then all of the lot on the left, just be down to that one spot. And then we got to finish the retaining wall.
Okay.
He wants the retaining wall going all the way across now.
Okay.
How far we want to take this up? You said to next July?
The July 1st, yeah, I won't go that long, just to be safe.
Any other questions? Elizabeth?
No, I guess it's the question is, are we suggesting it might take more than?
Well, that's what I'm trying to get a
July?
feel for,
Is-
but if he's going to commit to July 1,
Yeah, I'll be.
And if anything were to, if we get weird weather,
Yeah, well,
You'll
in the
come back and
springtime,
get another
hopefully not,
extension?
I want to be out of the big time. I mean, I've already got my deposit and I just want to move on, you know. But somebody's building on the lot in the front now, so now we're gonna wood chip the whole back. That wasn't originally in the game plan, but now we're gonna regrade that and everything's gonna be wood chipped everywhere there, you know.
just as erosion control or?
For
The looks.
looks and everything, for these
It's-
houses and the guy out front.
Yeah, plus erosion control. 'Cause
Yeah,
there-
erosion
There were
control.
problems out there, I don't know if you
Yeah,
remember,
yeah.
a couple of years ago.
The front is pretty level, so that the wood chips are gonna kind of just be there for aesthetics. Out back, we filled the whole slope so far, and with like 6 feet of, what you get once you screen loam is mostly rock and loam. That could be the road if you want, it's over 6 feet deep across the whole face, you know?
Okay.
Mark, did you have any questions or anything? Bjorn?
No.
Questions, Leonard, questions? July 1st.
I'm good with it.
Perfecto, thank you.
Good luck.
Well, let me finish the vote.
Have a good night.
I'll make a motion that we approve an extension of the special permit for earth removal for James Hayward for his project on Allen Road.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. For discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll move to vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now you're all set.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank Doug, Jackie.
6. Our next hearing is 7:30. We're almost catching up. For a site plan amendment for Old Bay Road, Route 52, which is the Cutchins program for children. And we had some emails previously, said that we might have Attorney Dan McKelnick in here.
No Dan McKellick, but you've got Ryan O'Hara.
I have both names down. And we had this initially just presented to us as an indication of work that was going to be done without any formal process. And we sort of pushed back on that, asking that somebody would perhaps make themselves available to explain what work is getting done and whether or not you do want a modification of your site plan approval, because this is under a site plan approval, and now you're making changes to it. Well, you know, if it were just a piece of property out there and somebody was going to put a little bit of blacktop down, we would be saying that, well, that's your business. It doesn't fall within site plan review. But since this was an ongoing site plan construction project that was going on, and now you're seeking to modify that, and the question is whether or not it's substantial enough that it would push it into us making a vote to actually modify the plan. Or, you know, the other thought that we had was that you might want us to do that almost as a prophylaxis, you know, that because there are still concern out in that neighborhood about what's going on in your facility. And there was discussion at the select board meeting just last night about mail that they had received about police calls coming out to this facility. So I mean, it sort of raises the issue, is there something going on here that's increasing the size of the footprint of this project? You're adding 14 parking places, and is it because you're expanding in any way? Are you putting more clients on site? Are you increasing the amount of staff? Are you getting more visitors? We'd sort of like to get an explanation of what's going on.
Certainly. So, and again, Ryan O'Hara, Bacon Wilson on behalf of Cutchins. I'm here tonight with Tina Champagne, who's the executive director, and Chris from Berkshire Design, who's done the engineering on this really what we believe is a de minimis, and I actually think your word prophylactic is exactly right, change to the site plan. So what you can see over here, and I'm not the engineer, but it's simple enough that I think I can handle it. We're looking to put a total of 14 new spaces for parking. You'll see they're all already in areas where there's existing parking. One of them requires relocating the propane tank slightly.
That was already done.
Okay, so it doesn't even require relocating the propane tank now.
How far in the past was that done?
Yeah.
Recent past?
No, like before the kids moved in.
Oh, okay.
During
But the
construction.
propane
Yeah.
tanks are out in that general vicinity.
Yeah, it's like right around here.
After it first,
Slightly moved.
we talked about this, what, a couple meetings ago? And I took a drive by and saw that there were cars parked on the racks. So it seemed like, okay, that makes sense. And I thought I noticed propane tanks there too, so.
I've got a map. Have you seen that?
So I'm
Mark
point
it
of
red.
prophylactic, though, Mr. Bodette. There's no change to the facility that's happening. There's no change in the scope of operations, nothing like that. I think Cutchins, and I don't want to speak for Tina, but in their experience, what they're finding is that people who are coming for whatever business they may have there, occasionally all the parking is full, and some parking is spilling out onto the street, which Cutchins doesn't really want happening, because if they're coming to the site for use of the site, they'd rather have parking on site. And then knowing that there are people out there that have whatever issue with this 48 Section 3 use, it's helpful if Cutchins can contain the parking within the site, whatever that may be. If this board believes that a formal application for amendment of site plan is necessary, certainly we're happy to follow that process. But what we would just emphasize is no change in operations at the facility whatsoever. We're talking about really, again, a de minimis addition of parking spaces in areas that are already used for parking. If there's specific questions about the engineering aspects, which are not really complicated in this project, design is here available to answer them. But we would just suggest that within the scope of what's being done, the fact that it's really just to further minimize any potential impacts on the neighborhood, and the overarching context that this is a Dover Amendment use here, we would ask that you approve just moving forward without a formal amendment to the site plan. If you have specific comments or questions about the project, I would leave it to the very capable hands of these two.
Michael, start with you.
So, first of all, the area that we're talking about, 14 spots, we're looking at, I don't know, 3,000 square feet of impermeable.
Yeah, about 2,300 square feet.
Okay. And as far as affecting the water flow, the ground flow, I know there was concerns about the water buildup in the front corner anyways. How does this affect any water flow on the stormwater flow on the property?
Yeah, so we looked at that and essentially added this impervious area to the existing stormwater model that we already had, and found that there's essentially no change with one key caveat. So the addition of these spaces over here essentially doesn't change the amount of stormwater produced by this portion of the site, because it's small areas of pavement that then discharge to flat grass on a very sandy site, and this is all headed in the direction of the stream, in this direction over here. These spots here do need to be sloped toward the interior of the site to ensure that the drainage system still works as designed, and I'll flip this over just for reference, which doesn't show the proposed work, but this is the grading plan as it was approved and built. There is a couple of large rain gardens here that take a majority of the interior of the site, which are, because of the sand that we have, are bigger than they need to be. And so the addition of this, about 1,200 square feet of pavement replacing grass, as long as we tip that interior to the site, it reaches this rain garden. This rain garden essentially doesn't even notice it. And in the smaller storms, there's no discharge whatsoever. It all infiltrates into the site. And up to the 100-year storm, where there is some overflow, it's still a reduction versus the site as it was before the development.
During the initial presentation and discussion, the area right at the intersection of Plaza and Old Bay, that area was specifically called out as being a concern for water accumulation, for well contamination, for all kinds of stuff. In the ensuing time period, and I don't know how long you've actually been there.
What years now?
A couple of years. Has there been any standing water or evidence of standing water in that area that would be exacerbated by, as you say, a de minimis amount? But a de minimis does mean more.
Right.
So.
Not that I'm aware of. I haven't seen anything anyway.
This wasn't the greatest summer for measuring that since we
That's a good
I have been to the site, probably not during the worst conditions, which would be when the ground is frozen, but during heavy rain, and saw very little water building up anywhere. What I would say is the way the system is designed, water flowing into these basins is transmitted by a pipe under the parking lot and out to a discharge in this direction. So that de minimis change, which again, this basin essentially doesn't even notice, but to the extent that there is an increase into this basin, it overflows away from that.
Okay, thank you for reminding me.
So the tipping that you mentioned, it's tipping it towards that discharge area in the back?
No, it's to make sure it gets collected.
Right. And then discharged.
If we did look at, if we just tipped this away, then it increases the runoff in this direction just enough that in the 100-year storm, we would no longer have a reduction versus when we got here, which is against the stormwater standards and things like that, simply bringing it into this infiltration system, everything continues to work and we get that reduction. So the more appropriate place is for it to go into the space.
So, and there are how many new spots going in that zone? Is it 6 or 7 or?
No.
7.
There are 7 in that location here.
Right now, we've had some comments, issues, complaints, whatever, about parking and on-street. Will this eliminate, do you currently have on-street parking issues? Yes or no?
At times,
Okay. Will this eliminate them completely?
it should. However, we also have, I think just one neighbor who, when they have extra people that their own driveway doesn't accommodate, they do allow them to park on our front yard there in front of the fence. So if that's a concern, we would have to talk to them about that. But in terms of our employees, this would more than resolve the issue.
So I'm specifically worried about your employees, your visitors, your clientele, your everybody, not the neighbors.
Right.
But with this addition, will that eliminate on-street
Yes.
parking by you and people affiliated with Cutchins?
Yes.
That's my only question. Thank you.
You all set, Elizabeth, with any questions you need? Mark, is there any other information you need? Leonard?
None, no.
Well, I think our decision is looking at 14527, which is site plan review, subparagraph I, modification of an approved site plan. If it's an actual modification, then we need to go through decision-making process. But also it says underneath that, 1 would be a major modification. 2, minor amendments to an approved site plan may be granted by the planning board upon application and for good cause and shall be acted on under the procedures available to the initial approval of a site plan. And then we would actually make a decision which would be filed with the town clerk. So what we need to decide is, do we think that this is enough of a change that it's a substantial modification to the site plan, minor modification to the site plan, or a de minimis one that does not even rise up to the level of us being involved in this at all?
I don't think it's a major. If anything, it's a minor for good cause, which is to address concerns articulated by the neighbors of on-street parking and whatnot. So mine would either be a minor amendment or a de minimis.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Elizabeth, how do you feel about this?
I think de minimis is minimizing it, so I would say minor. Reasonable is not the right word to use because it's so vague.
So us making a decision.
Yeah.
Mark, how do you think?
I think I could go with this kind of.
2 de minimis. Bjorn?
I feel minor.
Minor.
I'm also minor.
Now, you had your own intentions when you came in here. You didn't want to necessarily have a decision triggered by this board. And that's the way we seem to be going, though. I'd like to hear what your input on this is.
So I think this came before the board in just kind of a
haphazard
organic, comes up, works its way in front of you. If the board is going to go through formal decision-making process, of course we want to follow what the bylaw provides in terms of that, so that whatever decision you do reach is, framed properly, I suppose is the way to put it. If the board is prepared to and believes the matter is in front of them in a way where a decision can be made tonight, you don't feel you need further information, I think we'd be fine with proceeding to some sort of decision making. But if there's some sort of other procedure out there that you need us to follow first, whatever that may be, whether it's some sort of further notice or along those lines, we're happy to follow. We're really here to try to make sure that we give the board the opportunity to do things the way it thinks needs to be done, so that we can comply with whatever's required.
Okay. This is just a discussion at this point. We haven't actually made a decision. It's not a public hearing. The public doesn't have a right to speak to this matter, but I noticed there's other people in the room. I don't know what business they're here to entertain.
No
If
issue
there's, if there's anybody here on the Cutchins matter and you wish to speak to it? No. All right, there are other business. And I don't see go-to even, I don't know where go-to is. There wasn't anybody I could see up there from the public.
Can I make a point, though, on modifications of an approved site number 2 minor amendment? The board may require ... if it considers the proposed modification to be potentially detrimental to the neighborhood, community, or environment. And I think I'm finding, in my opinion, that this is just the opposite, that this is trying to address,
To mitigate issues.
to mitigate an issue with the community. So, you know, that being said, even if we do go for a minor amendment, my position would be to waive the, you know, 7 prints of the original approved site with the changes and all of that, and go with the information that has been submitted.
Has the work already been done? No? Oh.
We're not, we're.
I just
holding.
expected to.
Until we get permission.
Yeah, somebody said that they were parking on the grass.
Yeah.
So they are in fact parking there, but it hasn't been paved or yeah, nothing's, okay.
So I also just want to share that, you know, we vowed when we began all of this to be good neighbors, to the best of our possible ability, to keep this site looking as pristine as possible. We worked really hard to meet that promise, and this is another step towards that, because, you know, we're aware when people park on the side of the road or anywhere else in the yard, it damages the grass, it doesn't look good, it gets muddy at certain times of year. So certainly with the weather changing, this may need to wait till the spring if we need to do more things, but I feel like this is our coming forward in good faith and wanting to do our best to continue to be good neighbors.
And the asphalt plants are still open, so it's a possible. We don't have it, and if we did move to approve the modification, I don't have a document in here for it. We'd have to authorize a single signatory and then have the document prepared, have the single signatory come in and sign it. All right.
So we would just be approving.
We have the engineering.
modification.
Yeah, we have the modification. It's,
So we'll have this in our files.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got the drawings.
in this file too, I think I had some engineering math. Maybe I don't.
Just that it's less than 10,000 square foot in
Well, they do have this, it's a stormwater management permit applicant checklist, because you've been through stormwater.
Correct, this has a stormwater permit.
That's still gonna apply. Given the attention that's been on this project, I think that we should formalize our review of it and actually authorize the work you're gonna do, so everybody's in line.
Sure. So we will then regroup, file likely just an application for approval of the modification, and you'll take it from there.
You want an application, or you want us to, you think we could just do it right now?
You're the board, so if you wanted to vote right now,
I think we prefer a vote now if it's at all possible.
All right, here's what you can do for the sake of paperwork, because you're a lawyer, you're okay. And
I'm a court lawyer.
just somebody hand over a semi-clean piece of paper, and you can scribble a note, and that could suffice as an application. At your request.
Waiving all formalities.
Try to not be formal. That's the first simplicity.
They're gonna have to submit a check. Isn't there a fee with this?
I was just looking to see if there was a fee for it.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Well, wait a minute. Let me back up on this. I've got it listed on the agenda as a discussion.
Yeah,
so we can't.
I can't,
Alright.
it'd be a meeting, yeah,
All right.
it'd be an open meeting bylaw, potential violation.
Yeah,
So let's take it up at the next meeting as an application.
Yeah,
I think that,
it probably covers you too if there ever is any issue.
Yeah, our primary concern is making sure that just whatever action is taken on this is out in public, complies with the open meeting law. I advise towns, municipalities as well. I understand how important it is to comply.
well, a lot of people are continue to be very interested in this project from that area. And I think going through process here is going to give a little bit more of a foundation to the town actually recognizing what you're doing and consenting to it. So you have the armor of a determination if there's question that comes forward.
All right, so you can expect that an application in due course
Yeah.
soon, and we will take it from there. We'll be back
Yeah.
having the same conversation, except
And
we'll
I
get the
think
way more entertaining Tom.
You're
Brady
already
probably.
hearing that you're going to find a positive audience
Great.
for this, because we think it's a really necessary if you're going to continue to use your site as it was originally intended. Great.
Can I just
Yeah.
ask one question? So do you think it was just not having quite enough information to know how many parking spots you would need in the original application? or-
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not gonna be like every couple of years?
No, as a matter of
Because
fact,
eventually
I
we'll
feel
run out
like-
of space.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, as of this moment, this might give us a little more than we need, so that if there is anything like a family night or something,
Right.
and if we have, you know, a full census, it's very different from when we first moved in, and there was only 2 or 3 kids. So this is part of what you're seeing, so.
So you are at capacity now?
We're at 10.
I can't
Out
remember.
of
It
12.
was 16, I
Out
think,
of
wasn't it?
12, no.
12?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Got the wrong number in my brain.
no, we can only go up to 12. But, yeah.
So you're padding to allow for
Exactly. We have extra parents coming in, caseworkers, things like that.
All right.
Roll set.
See you all again soon. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you.
very much.
Dan, the attorney for
Attorney Pusterri is here.
122 Federal Street, you might want to take that next.
Well, listen. Fine. That's what we'll do. I don't have a folder. Oh, there it is. It was on the bottom. Okay. Now, 122 Federal Street. The history on this is they came in for a permit to put 5 cars on site. They were going to sell there, and it's on the parking lot that is currently serving a convenience store. And we approved the site plan review. It's subject to moving the location of the 5 cars from one side of the lot to the other side of the lot, from the north side to the south side of the lot. And at the same time, we told them, not as a condition, but we reminded them that there was a parallel track of processing through the Conservation Commission, that they needed to get the okay from them also. So it wasn't going to come to them as a surprise. And the Conservation Commission has been working on their approval for a number of months now because they were concerned that off the north side of that lot, there is a swamp that's more like a pond, and that any fluids that might leak in an event would go right into that wetland. And what they came back and asked is that the berm be repaired along that side. But they had initially also asked to have the cars moved to the other side like we did. The argument that came in from the applicant was that it wasn't really a good idea to be parking those cars over the top of the service area where the trucks would be coming in and offloading the fuel products. That in the event of, a disaster or something like that, that it would impede the ability of rescue people to be able to control that event, either a spill or a fire or, something like that. And evidently the Conservation Commission agreed with that argument because they've now agreed to have the cars moved to the north side.
If the curb is repaired and some other barrier is between the parking lot and the wetland, whether it's shrubs or large stones.
And that was to keep snow out.
To make sure that it's not the plow depository from.
Yeah, they weren't pushing the snow into the swamp. So, the applicant for the original site plan is asking us to modify our original condition. So we want to modify our site plan review.
I guess you are, yeah.
All right. With that, the attorney for the corporation owning that is up there in go-to land. Attorney Prusateri, do you want to make your argument and give us any information that you have? Hello?
I think he's muted, if nothing else.
Yeah, maybe, but he might be listening to us, though, and trying to open up.
Or you might be having dinner.
All right, I'll give it one more minute, and then we're going
to you can check the chat box. Looks like there's one check going on there.
Maybe he's there. There he is. I think the board is muted.
Okay.
And
He
that
can't
was
hear us.
2 minutes ago.
Is the board muted? I'm not hearing
Can you hear us now?
Can you hear us now? It looks like you got a mic. Hello?
We hear him.
Can you hear us now? Attorney Pusateri. Something's coming through. Hello?
Like shuffling paper.
Try speaking to us.
I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Now you're here. There we go.
Yeah.
I'm going to log off and log back in. I apologize to interrupt.
Oh, I went through the history of how we got here. If there's anything else you want to say or you want to make your argument, please go ahead.
I think he just said he was going to log out and log back.
Oh, I thought you said he did log out and log back in.
Oh.
Still there.
Still there.
I can see a little residual.
All right, we're going to screw around for one more minute, and then we're going to go ahead and go into conversation so we can keep moving ahead. I'm not going to wait all night.
Coming on another time here.
Okay, now we have them there. 3.
Attorney Prosateri, hello.
Muted.
Oh, I love working with GoToWorld. Hello. That's it. Let's go ahead with the discussion. We basically know what they want. They want us to drop the condition on having the cars on the south side. They want them back on the north side where they wanted them in the first place. What does everybody think of? We're good to go with that?
I'm good to go with that, but I would almost say on the other car applicants that have come before us, we haven't stipulated exactly where they're going to put their cars. And have we?
On the map.
No. When the one on cars with a Z on State Street, or the cars at Belchertown Motors, although they told us this is where we never put in writing a stipulation that this is where you have to put your cars.
Was there a pond right next to it?
Well, you might have, but you did on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and so my suggestion is we just remove that stipulation and not say whether it's the north or the south or the east or the west, but just approve them for 5 spots.
They could put it anywhere.
And they can coordinate with the CONSCOM where those 5 spots are, they can, whatever, but from our standpoint, we're approving the business, we're approving the sale of the cars, we're approving the maximum limit of 5, but we're not gonna stipulate that it has to be 4 against this fence and 1 by the tree, or anything like that.
Well,
That would be my approach.
My approach would be, it shouldn't be right next to a pond, but maybe okay next to a tree or next to a fence, but a pond is a different matter. But,
Well, the Concom said it was okay next to the pond, so that's where they're gonna end up. That's where they said they were gonna put them in the first place.
My counter argument would be that if it's not good for a car for sale, then it's not good for any car. And regardless of the plan, if they are not maintaining the property that properly protects the pond, that's a different issue. That's a compliance issue, and that's a CONSCOM kind of issue in terms of they need to have the barriers and whatnot. If it's not good enough for a new car or for a car that's just been recently worked on to get it prepped and ready for sale, then certainly it's not good enough for any random car that parks there. Then you would say, I don't allow any parking on the lot.
yeah.
That would be, you know.
I think what we talked about last time and what I said then was that it's a site that would not be permitted
Today.
now. And it feels like we're taking a bad situation and possibly making it worse. And so that's been my stand on it. I appreciate that CONSCOM thought of mitigating it, although it does seem as though it's mitigating a scenario where you have a pretty small property in a pretty fraught spot, and you can't always do everything you want to do in a spot like that.
It's overusing the property is really your basic argument. You got a small lot, you're trying to do too much on it.
And if you're trapped between where you get your fuel deliveries, you know, it's not my idea of. But if CONSCOM feels comfortable with it, and I did go and chat with them today, and it did seem as though with these conditions, they've agreed to it.
So
I'm sort of thinking I might be an abstainer. I don't think I could vote.
No.
I don't think I could
Not
vote.
going to let you chicken out like that.
Well, I don't feel comfortable saying yes, and I don't
Feel comfortable saying no?
And I don't feel comfortable saying no because, you know, CONSCOM has worked with them.
I won't twist your arm. Mark, where are you going to go on this?
I'm going to say that the conservation has looked at the site. They've recommended modifications. Modifications apparently have been made. I would have to go in support of it.
Yeah, as long as they're in compliance with the CONSCOM recommendation, yeah.
Right.
I'm a no.
No. So we've got 2 no's and 2 yeses.
I'm a yes.
We've got a courageous no and a
Whoa, that was-
wimpy abstain. But,
Attorney Pusateri, I'm not involving you in this because you're not talking, you know, we've got a communications problem. And if you can't hear us, you're going to have to catch up afterwards. We're not voting on this tonight anyway because it's down on the agenda as a discussion item. I can't take a vote on it. You're going to have to follow 145-27 subparagraph I2. It's really a minor amendment. We approved it with a condition. You want to eliminate the condition. I would consider that to be a minor amendment. So let's get an application and consider it the next meeting, and the discussion we've had can then appear in the notes. So if Attorney Pusateri is not hearing us, he can come up to speed with what the argument is going to be, but it's not it doesn't sound like it's a clear-cut matter which way things are going to go. So it might very well depend on the strength of the argument that the representative is going to make. And so you'll communicate with them that we did not vote. We had a discussion, what the basis of, what the result of that discussion was, and that they should be prepared to put forth their arguments at the next meeting if they file the application, okay?
Yeah.
We all set with that? Moving right along, I've got the A&R for Shea Avenue. I'm gonna have to step out myself. I work as corporate counsel for the Belchertown Land Trust, which owns property down on the Swift River. It's within 300 feet of this subject property, so I'm an abutter to an abutter within 300 feet, and I have a conflict of interest being conflicted out. I'm turning this particular item over to the vice chair. There's the file.
Very much. And the
There's a Stebbins and
Mylars are,
the map, and I'm gonna go out in the hall and wait for this.
we will come and find you. Okay. If you and I can put this together and then pass it down the other way. So, we are looking at an A&R for Shea Avenue, map 271, lot 30. The owner applicants are Jillian Brunell and Derek Stebbins at 108 Shea Avenue. Are you? No, okay. So we're dealing with a 3.11 acre lot with a house. And the owners wish to create two lots. Lot 1, which includes that house, and 43,232 square feet, and breaks off parcel A, which is 2.117 acres. And I did have a question about the frontage on that parcel A, but I have learned that it's going to be combined eventually with parcel B, so the 89 foot of frontage, which would not normally be enough, is going to be fixed by being combined with parcel B. Have I understood that correctly?
That's correct, yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Okay. So, having sorted that out, it seems like a pretty straightforward thing, A&R, to me. But let's walk around and see what everybody else thinks. Mike?
Frontage on lot 1 is now the 123.03 plus the 17.59. Is that correct? And
Plus 50, oh yeah.
Yeah.
so all of that curved area on the frontage, is that incorporated in the 1750? It doesn't matter. We're over the 140.
We're over
the 140.
for
just
lot
got
one.
that.
I was concerned about parcel A.
Yeah, I realize what you're concerned about. I just want to make sure that we're not overlooking.
Right.
Okay.
Well, we started with 430 acres of feet of frontage on this one, so.
Just so that I'm clear on that, the rest of it is pretty straightforward. They didn't identify anybody on the other side of the street, which
We're not requiring that anymore.
I was going to say, we've
We've changed that.
we did? Thank you.
It was always a problem.
I know it was, and we started cracking down, and then, okay. I have no problems. The rest of it is fine. They've got all the notes, the identifiers, et cetera. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
Len?
I'm good with it as is.
Okay. Well, I'll just run over the Mylars, and we have the owner applicants. Jillian Brunell and Derek Stebbins are identified by name and address. Likewise on the application, they have their signatures and a date of October 30th, 2025.
Oh.
Surveyors.
Oh, hold on a second. So for parcel A, that 50 feet, is that, so you got the 123.03, to the left of that is 50 feet. Is that with parcel A or is that with lot 1?
This is with
Part of lot.
parcel A, which
So then,
is fully combined with parcel B, so this.
so we had, so does that get us the 140?
Yeah.
Because that gets us 140.6.
123.
But then the curvature comes into
Seventeen.
case then, does it?
Oh, you have 123 plus 17.
For that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, and this one will have the 140 with the 50.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter 'cause
It doesn't matter
it's one
because
with
it's being combined.
Parcel
with
A
that.
is not a buildable lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, I was just making sure.
And that's right.
Because it does not,
It says it in the notes.
yeah.
Yep,
Yeah, and
yep.
lot 1 conforms.
Okay,
Yep,
yep.
okay, and you're good. All right, so probably,
This top one is.
identification, sorry, I should have noted the notes. I had covered them up here. We have the surveyor and engineer, one and the same, Gary Lanfear, and his stamp, and it's dated October 10th. So unless there's further discussion, I move to endorse the A&R for Jillian Brunell and Derek Stebbins, Shea Avenue, map 271, lot 30, as shown on the plan dated October 10th, 2025.
Second.
Second, I have a second from Bjorn. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So, 4-0. We have our A&R.
We need to sign the A1 and sign the Mylar.
Okay, so
We have a Mylar over here.
this,
Yes. Doug, just to confirm, this is where we're signing, the Mylar we sign in the corner here? Doug, just to confirm, we're signing the Mylar right down here in the corner?
Yeah.
Having made a mistake on the previous one. It says planning board and has lines, but anyway.
Oh, I was gonna take Dan's.
oh, yeah, that'd be great, thank you. Dated.
A1 back. Okay.
Ma'am, you're Champagne, are you Champagne Hill?
Kathy Jo, Champagne Hill is sick, so I'm her real estate agent, Lisa Davis. And this is her, is the other heir property, Sean and Renee Hill.
You used to be Lisa Neffinger, right?
Right.
When I moved here in 1988, you were the first person I ran into in the real estate market when I was looking on a house hunting trip. And I remember you were Lisa Neffinger.
Yes, right.
Yeah. A long time ago.
Wow.
Wow.
Good memory.
Very good memory. I'm impressed. Okay, that's the next one up anyway. The A&R for George Hannum Room, map 242, lot 3, for Champagne Hill.
Let's see.
Did somebody?
It's not in this packet.
I don't have a file. I made you move it.
Earlier.
Here's the drawing.
George Hannum Road. My fault, I moved it. Mr. Doug, could you give us the 50,000 foot view on this property, please?
Yeah, basically, there is one big piece of property, and they are separating what is now the house from the sawmill. So that'll be the sawmill's on Lot A, the house is on Lot B, and then they're cutting out a Lot C as a potential building lot. All the setbacks are there. Remarkably neat plan.
It's a very.
All right, it's Lot 3 and it's being divided into A, B, and C?
Yeah. It's this property. This is A, this is B, and then C is this.
B's got the house on it.
No, yeah, B has the house. C is just a straight 40,000 with the 141 frontage.
And so we got
No.
roughly 10 acres, 5 acres, and 1.
Right. Everybody else has got huge.
Look how it bends away from George Hannum Street. Looks like there's a stranded piece of land in front of it, doesn't it?
Oh,
I bet you George Hannum Street is probably not in the right location.
this little boat here at the bottom?
Yeah, I mean, we just assumed that you would drive down a road, that it's where it's supposed to be, but roads drift around every time they work on them. They don't necessarily put them in the right spot.
Said to be a public way.
You know, the other thing I wanted to mention, you handed in a will and information from Beers and Story Funeral Homes. You don't really want that part of the public file, do you?
No, I think the lawyer may have sent it over just to make sure that I could sign the paperwork, also agreeing on it, but I don't need it.
That doesn't come from the will for us. That comes from the letters testamentary that come from the probate court, and you did probate it. We've got the letters testamentary in here. The will is already a public instrument because you probated it, and that's the public process, but there's no need to have it in the planning board records. Would you like it back? It's not our business.
But this has all been properly probated.
It's letters testamentary, which
okay.
means that the probate court issued an order and decree. And then they give out what they call letters testamentary, which is what you take to the bank and, you know, all that other stuff to prove that...
you can do this to the property.
Yeah, and the letter testamentary was filed with the application.
Thank you.
So they're good to go. And they got to do business with the Hampshire Registry. I just did a probate in Worcester, and it took me close to a year. Jeez, it's just so... The Hampshire Registry, you go in, and they take the paperwork, and they sign it, and you walk out the door, and everybody's happy. No. The plat appears to be conforming. We've got an identification of the... Has it got the owner's name?
That's
on
what
it?
I'm looking for, is the owner's name and record.
In the notes.
That would be the Wilson Hill estate, right?
Well,
So
prepared for Kathy Jo Champagne Hill.
this is what it. The first note Said document references Wilson, Olson, and Hill.
Well, it's a minor defect. Under 270, the subdivision regulation 270-11. Contents 12, there's a punch list of what we need, and it says that we need to have the owner's name and address
Bless you.
listed on the plan. Somewhere do we have anything that looks like it?
Where do you see the prepared for? Oh,
There. Prepared for, but then,
There's a name and address.
Yeah, name and address.
Yeah,
But
it says
doesn't
prepared
say-
for, and
it
says
doesn't
owner, but
stipulate that they're the owner, though, which,
yeah.
it's a minor, you're
It's a
right.
minor. We've got all the abutters identified, and we've got our
On both
locus.
sides of the street.
North Arrow and the locus and the, I thought, oh, there's the stamp.
Where's the stamp?
Right here,
Oh, okay.
right above.
Yeah.
That's weird, though. That they,
Yep,
it's not really fronting on the public way. It's fronting on a piece of property that's
Said
removed
to be.
from. Yeah.
Although it says it over here, too.
I accept
Concerned about
that George
this
Hannum's a
gap
public
in the
way,
road
of course.
from where the edge of the road
Oh,
is
but that's
from.
still where the layout is.
The way the layout is weird.
Yeah, I mean, it's still the way.
The road's not in the right place, according to the surveyor.
No, it's just, that's the road. That's not them.
So,
Yeah.
There are a lot of old roads. It was,
Yeah.
we had to re-lay out part of North Washington Street around the railroad because we found out that the road wasn't at all on the town's right-of-way. It was on private property. So that had to be all done over.
so from a frontage standpoint, though, I could not argue that this is not frontage.
It's frontage.
It
It's
is,
frontage.
you know, regardless of where this line is, which denotes the edge of the right-of-way.
Well, I always thought under the stranded road,
Exactly.
laws that you own to the middle of the road. So I think their ownership goes to the middle of the road anyway, and they own this.
This
That parcel belongs to
wedge.
the people that are the adjoining property owners.
So where does the pavement end?
Pavement is not what.
That's irrelevant.
I know, this is, but I'd be curious.
So you may have more property than we think.
Well,
But it doesn't, I don't think it affects the
I agree.
validity of the A&R.
No.
Applications by Kathy Jo, Champagne Hill. It's been signed by her, the owner, I'm sorry, it's Wilson Hill. Kathy Jo being the applicant, and Sean Hill has signed the application. This is for map 242, lot 3, being subdivided into A, B, C. I believe it's a conforming A&R plan. I'll make a motion that we approve it accordingly.
Second.
Seconded by Elizabeth. The motion's made and second. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll move to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Go ahead and sign it.
And do we have a document to sign from the folder?
You used to know Lenny Shoestack,
Excuse me.
too, did you?
The Farmers Home Administration,
Yeah, well, that's where I worked for 41 years. I knew Lenny.
In the folder still?
Everybody's already signed it.
What?
I don't know
We haven't signed it.
what kind of weird forces are at work, but everybody's
Did we
seen it.
sign it thinking it was the Shea Street?
I don't know, but this says Champaign Hill, and everybody's already signed it. Let's look at the Shea Street.
Shea Street.
Oh, you did? Oh, sorry.
Yep.
Here's the A1 to sign. Bjorn? There's the
Thank you.
A1 to sign.
Thank you.
That's Shea Street.
Let's read this.
It's the A1 to sign. Thank you for your patience.
All right. Stebbins.
So, these guys take it to the, they want to take the Mylar?
Okay, this one has been here for a while, and, whoops, I don't have the Fry one. I don't know where. The Fries are looking to take out a .943 acre portion of 26034. People got a copy of that map in their handouts. So that's the parcel that's on fronting on Cold Spring Road before the turn for Sabin.
Yes.
And you know what that is? That's the site of the old carriage house that used to be there. Hundreds of years ago, there was a stage line that came through Belchertown on its way towards Boston.
Yeah, it was between Brookfield and Hayward.
Yeah.
And it went down this road, and there was a tavern there, or an inn, where people could stay and they could board their horses, overnight. And they watered them at a pond called Cold Spring Pond that's on the university land just on the other side of Sabin, and that's where the original name of Cold Spring came from, is the pond that they watered the horses for that tavern that was there. And the tavern was burned down in the early 1990s by the Belchertown Fire Department.
Remember that?
Althea Fry volunteered the structure to be burned.
17-something structure?
Yeah. And they never advised the Belchertown Historical Commission, and they were furious after that.
No kidding.
But the cellar hole that was left over, they pushed everything into it, and it's all dirt now, and that's the site of this right here. But it's slightly less than an acre.
So that cellar hole is on lot 8?
Yeah.
Oh.
And just some background, I initially made a complaint because I thought that the house had been shingled with asphalt shingles, and then when they pushed everything into the hole, that it constituted a potentially asbestos-contaminated site. But when I brought it to the building department, they brought it to the fire department, who had documents saying that the site was environmentally clean and could be burned. I don't know. There was an old furnace in there too that had pipes that were wrapped in asbestos, but smarter minds than me figured it out. They've got a contract on it. Oh, no. I was hoping maybe people would look at that and say they didn't want it. And for $76,000 for a 1 acre lot, a 1 acre building lot. I think that's about the going rate in Belchertown right now. Seems to be around $75,000 an acre for a building.
For a building, yeah. Seems in that neighborhood.
So our question then would be, if they're going to sell it, is the town going to exercise its right of first refusal on this? It being a building lot, times being what they are, I can't imagine our select board finding the money or finding anybody else that has the money that wants to step in and take this over for conservation purposes. It's a building lot, rather limited in size, directly fronting on a public way, prime territory for building. So I'd like to race ahead and make a motion that we recommend to the select board that they abandon the town's right of first refusal. Unless anybody else has strong feelings on it. That's the motion. Can I have a second? Seconded by Mr. Hoffler. Motion's made and seconded. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll move it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
We'll send a letter to the select board, tell them that we don't have an interest in asking them to perform on this one. Now, the second one, another right of first refusal, and it's for a piece of property on Amherst Road, and do we have a map of this? Yeah, there was a map. Did that map went out to everybody?
Yeah.
On the handout, all right. It's a long, thin column. I can't even make my glasses work for how wide that is, but
50 feet wide.
50 feet wide, and it connects in the back to land of Coles.
Right.
And it looks like the Coles, when they initially subdivided and sold out these frontage lots, kept that as an access point for their back land, whether they were going to develop it or they just wanted to have physical access. That was a way for them to get in there.
Yeah, at least legal access, right.
But that land and back now is in protection,
Yes,
isn't it?
It is owned by the trustees of reservations.
So they, in effect, don't really have any practical use, the Coles, for it anymore. So they're looking to make this property available to one of the two adjoining owners on the lots on the front.
On either side, they're owned by the same person. There's two duplexes, and they have a very horrible steep driveway right on the curve. I'm always amazed that there's never been a horrible death or something there, but anyway, so this land would go to that owner, and then she could maybe improve the driveways or something somehow.
Did the other zigzag, because this represents about not even half of that oddly shaped lot.
Yeah,
Is the other
I think the rest
with
of it all went
trustees?
with the
So
trustees.
they just carved off that weird little.
That chunk, and Lyme still owns that, and they want to get rid of it. Because Lyme bought all that land with some gracious donor's money and held it until the trustees and Kestrel were able to sort out how they're going to manage it and all that.
They didn't submit a contract of sale.
They're going to donate it, so there is no sale.
They're gonna-
It would be on our bill to have an assessor come in and price it. And the cost of the assessment would be probably greater than the value of the land. But they're going to donate it for free.
I see.
Just giving it away.
To donate it to an abutter.
Yes.
So
donate is not the right word. I would
Give.
Gift it.
It's not a charitable donation.
It's a gifting.
And there was some kind of encroachment anyway.
The abutter has a building that partially goes on this property anyways.
Part of the driveway.
So if they're gifting it, the value of it that we're looking at is zero. Right?
Yeah.
Or should we be looking at it as the assessed value?
We have to look at it as the free and fair market value.
Which is probably
as determined by a certified assessor.
Yeah, and
And that wouldn't be whatever percentage of that whole 1,000 acres?
no, it would be it in itself,
Use value,
which means it is
nothing.
pretty worthless.
Nothing's worthless.
No. Yeah, I mean, you could go there and, have a picnic and watch cars go by.
I'm going to recommend that we say to the Board of Selectmen, do not exercise the right of first refusal.
That's nothing to the town
No.
value, to the,
Correct.
to the value of the citizens of the town. All right, that's the motion. I'll second it. Motion's made and seconded. For the discussion on the motion, hearing none, I'll move it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Just send that letter to Doug.
Yep.
Our business is done. The discussion on new regulations draft for permitting clean energy facilities, I'll turn that over to the town planner.
I gave you all this pretty quality packet, so I think I've done my job.
Is this,
Huh?
this is not the same one, although it looks the same as got handed out at that meeting that we were at with somebody from the DOER.
It might be that very same one, I don't know. Anyway, the clean energy siting laws provides a nice little summary. It defines what a large and a small clean energy project is. Municipal review, you get 12 months from start to finish, which we've never gone 12 months reviewing one of these. Creates a new division under the state's Department of Energy Resources, and it provides you a nice little chart that shows a reduced permitting process. And in short, small projects, which are 25 megawatts and under, and the ones we have don't even come close to 25 megawatts. So they're still reasonably large. Are permitted by the municipality. Anything bigger than that goes up to the State Energy Siting Review Board. Towns get to make their comments, but the decision goes to the State Energy Siting Review Board. They have a number of, standards.
Doug, can I interrupt you for a second? Looking at the flow chart.
Yes.
After, on the new plan, after it says single permit issued in 12 months or less, and then optional 6-month review of local permits by the review board. Does optional to whom? Who options that?
I guess the State Energy Board.
So if the State Energy Board doesn't like what the town has decided, they can come in and override it?
They would override it, yes. And
But
then there's the option for the Supreme Judicial Court appeal.
But there was also at that meeting with the DOER person, when she got to that, it had to do with if it took longer because of continuances, that they would allow you to take longer than 12 months if there were continuances based on either the applicant or the board.
Yeah, and so it looks like, if people are unhappy with a decision, it skips several lower levels of court and goes right up to the top.
Huh.
No, I think I sent the draft regulations to you, and I'm sure you've read them many times and made notes and wrapped your children's Christmas presents in them. And I think what this means for us, other than the changes in what we're allowed to review, is that we probably need to, again, amend our bylaw. And they're supposed to be issuing a model bylaw. They have to get their regulations finished and adopted by, I think it's February. And so they sent out the draft for people to comment on. And, I have the dates in there. This was a different piece of paper I had all those dates on. But yes, so when that happens, then we're going to have to say, okay, we need to change our bylaw again. So when that draft or model municipal bylaw comes out, I'll get it to you and we can start deciding what to do with it. But basically, I think it's going to be a lot like accessory dwelling units. We're just going to have a bylaw that says, this is what the state wants. So we've been overridden a little bit.
And what nobody knows is what the state's streamlined permitting process would take into account vis-a-vis the things that we took into account, slopes and tree cutting.
I mean, they promise a whole bunch of environmental reviews and careful sensitivity, but that's to be seen.
Now, in the paper, I've noticed a number of towns around us have been trying to change their bylaws in advance of the state coming out with this, particularly with regard to restricting them, any project out of aquifer areas. But if the state has control in the end of the siting of the project, they're going to be able to put it anywhere in the town they want, regardless of what the town bylaw is.
You would think that. I think it's going to depend on what those environmental standards are that the state's going to go by. Are they going to listen to DEP? Are they going to listen to conservation commissions and what the towns have to say? I should hope. But we'll have to get into that.
It did seem as though there was a level of a guess, an educated guess at least, that for the communities that didn't have bylaws or didn't have careful bylaws, the state could be an improvement over what they didn't have. But for other communities where they'd worked really hard on the bylaws, as we did, that it could undermine.
It could undermine it a little bit, yeah. I think, like a lot of the little towns that they don't have staff, they have a lot of undeveloped land, and people want to make money from it. I think they're going to get buried by this stuff. And that's the big fear. And I'm a huge renewable energy fan. But the reason I am is because I care about environmental quality, and so it's that balance you got to find. And you can't just wipe out everything and wash out everything and say, yeah, we're making clean energy, because you're not. If you cause all these other problems, because then you have to have a bunch of diesel burning to put the ground back into where it was. Anyway. Yeah, so I think it's to be seen, but I would encourage you to maybe dig into the draft regulations. There's still a little time to comment on them, if you care to. I think that maybe our Conservation Commission might have some comments, especially our expert hydrogeologist might have some sighting comments.
When the state goes to have their hearings on these projects, they're probably going to have them towards Boston. So they're going to carve off all the people that want to show up and complain.
It's possible they might have something in this direction, like in Springfield or something. It's typically better than Boston.
Yeah.
So, you got to get the hay out of your pickup truck and climb in and
That's not hard to do. You just, go 65 miles an hour or 70 miles an hour, and it blows out the back.
Does it make sense to try to have a municipal response to this, or?
I think you could talk about it with people and see if they want to do that. Yeah, I think there are enough folks who want to do that.
There are some communities that are trying to fight back. I pulled this article. You wanna, I don't know if maybe you've even seen it about Blandford pushing back, because they don't have a lot of bodies out there, people, but they got a lot of land, and so they're going to get targeted. A lot of the smaller towns are already starting to complain. But, I think that the horse has already left the barn on that one, hasn't it?
And that was under just the plain old incentive.
Yeah, the old SMART program, and that's where in Blanford, what they get seven projects or something, and then a lot of them like Charlton and towns like that, kind of smothered. And, we had 3 dinky ones, relatively small ones in that whole thing. We had a lot of applications, but actually the only one from that whole rush we had 6 years ago, the only one being built is the one on Ware Road. The others were before then.
So the ones off of,
everything else is dead.
Because of no tie-in?
For whatever reason.
I think the permits are gone.
Permits are gone too.
You mean they've expired?
They've expired, yeah.
The ones down,
wasn't Franklin?
Yeah.
On Tommy Roberts' land, those are all timed out. Okay. Is that it?
That's it. That's all I got. So dig into it more if you're really concerned about it, and see if others want to.
The next item I had was the next fiscal year tax classification. This is the report that the assessor's office made to the select board 2 weeks ago, and I usually grab that and make a copy so everybody can look through it. Not much has changed. The percentage of housing and industrial business property in town is just about exactly what it was before. So we get a little bit of improvement in the business taxation. They build another 40 houses. So it just seems to be running in a pattern that's not going to really substantially change, and your taxes are going to go up because of the override and because of the way property values have increased here too. So it's something for you to look at, and it's just information. I'm going to move along to the minutes.
Thank you for doing that. I got partway through it today, but I'll get back to it.
Well, some of it's a little interesting because it compares our taxation rate to the towns around us too. So it gives you sort of a feel for where we are in Belchertown. It's not that bad a place to live yet.
No.
Our taxes are fairly modest compared to some of the communities around us that I don't really think are that much different in terms of quality of life and that type of thing, and much more expensive. So I've got the minutes that have already been circulated for October 14, 2025. Anybody have any modifications, edits, deletions, changes that they wish to make?
Nope.
Hearing none, I'll move it. Wait ahead to vote. I vote that we adopt the minutes from the October 14th meeting as written. And it's seconded by Bjorn.
Seconded.
Seconded. So the motion's made and seconded. Further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll move it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
4. How do I say that? 401?
401.
No bills. We move right into the town planner report. Mr. Doug.
Continuing with our energy theme, both Eversource and National Grid, who have power lines running through town, have applied to filed environmental impact reports with DEP to expand the width of their rights-of-way substantially. The National Grid line is entirely within Quabbin in Belchertown. The Eversource line goes from Ludlow, kind of along the Granbytown line, then the Amherst town line, then comes into Belchertown a little bit and goes off into Pelham. And I understand they are looking to clear trees that were, so they would not have to maintain anything for 40 years, which means they want to take out everything in a wide area, scorched earth style. Let me see, the comment period on that project ends this Friday. I sent you the link to look at the report. So you'd have to, you know, if you had comments, you'd have to.
For Eversource was?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the National Grid one, they got extended until January. Yeah, January 9th.
That's not an expansion of the footprint to put, to upgrade the towers or to build additional units, is it?
To keep trees from growing tall enough where.
To fall and hit the wires, okay.
They fall on the wires. The wires are over 100 feet high.
The new towers, they're way taller than any of the trees we've got around here.
But, you know, that white pine can grow another 50 feet tall in 40 years. You never know.
Okay.
So on the silver lining side, this would be to go in there and clear out this dimension and then leave it alone, not disturb it, not send anything in there for 40 years.
Right, well, yeah, and then they have a forest growing, and, you know, trees can get pretty tall in 40 years.
But
is there anything about herbicides in that?
Usually they use herbicides, and I haven't gotten into it in that level of detail. But yeah, usually it's a mix of cutting and herbicides. And, you know, cutting I can understand. I have a problem with things that can kill indiscriminately and wash into the water. But yeah, I mean, cutting, yeah, you know, widening it here and there makes perfect sense. But, you know, wetlands or lands that are protected, you know, then you can start getting into some issues, I think. You know, but they do have a substantial right of way. I think it's a 200-foot right of way. And they probably want to clean the whole thing.
Is it maybe possibly 3? Or is that?
I don't know. I kind of scaled off the Eversource width, and it came out to be the cleared area was like 120 feet or something like that. So if they want to go another 50 feet in each direction. Yeah.
Is there any municipal opposition?
The Pelham and Shutesbury are very actively opposing and commenting, and they have met with our select board, I believe. I know they've met with Steve. So I don't know if the select board is really taking a stance on it or not.
I don't remember that discussion being part of the last meeting.
No, it would have been a while ago. Not.
I don't remember it at all.
Yeah, so maybe they didn't go before the board, but I know they talked to Steve.
Well, the whole Buffalo Falls region is going to be.
That would be affected.
Very affected.
Yeah.
Which
That's
is
not your domain.
No, it's not my town, but
I know, but still, yeah, it would go right up through all that. Right up through Coles' land and Shutesbury and all that, which they can still log, so they could lose them some timber value.
Is that your whole report?
That's fine. Yeah, well, okay, there's that. I looked at this year's totals of the state's subsidized housing inventory. We went down a little bit. We're at 6% now. Well, that's largely because we have new house construction, and so every time a new house comes up, it's not subsidized. There goes the percentage. We're aiming for 10, but it takes a lot to get to. Community preservation grants, I submitted 2 applications, one on behalf of the Recreation Department, you know, the big fancy house on South Main Street. I guess it's also a B&B. Anyway, they've spent like $1 million renovating a little carriage house behind. Anyway, so they have a 11 acre parcel in the back. And they want to sell that to the town. And the recreation department likes it. And in the very early days of my working here, I had a UMass student design a recreation area for the Piper Farm. And I said, well, include this, you know, and just, you know, maybe someday the town will buy it. And so, because it's the only level part over there, the Piper Farm goes like that. So he did. So we had this like little sketch of, you know, soccer fields and what have you. And I would kind of had that in the pocket. Anyway, now there's a chance to buy it, but we have to get it appraised. I have no idea what it'll appraise for. So we don't have a dollar value on the application. It's TBD. And Steve Williams has said that he needs to try to find some money to hire an appraiser. But if the town had it, then the access would be through Piper Farm off of Springfield Road and go up there. And you'd have a pretty nice area. And you'd have neighbors all around, and it would be pretty much in their backyards. But anyway, so it would be nice. Nice little place in the center of town if they got that. The other one is for property off of Old Farm Road and Old Bay Road. The property owner just cut off his humongous house and sold it. And so the land behind that, with a total of 5 parcels, and part of another one that has a rental house on it, we would buy. So for that we need to do a land grant from the state and get it. John Kestrel has said they have access to a quarter of the purchase amount that they would be able to contribute. So we get a little bit more from community preservation if we are so blessed. And that property scores very highly on all the state's bio map and natural heritage scores for vernal pools and forest integrity and habitat. So it's actually a pretty good spot, and it's not far from the New England Trail. So conceivably, if we owned it, we could have a trail that kind of somehow connects. That's down the road or down the trail. I'm very glad that we have a new grant coordinator. Her name is Dawn Cote. She started 2 weeks ago, and she seems very, very good. She was learning quickly and jumped right in and was meeting with people and figuring all this stuff out. And I'm saying, please, just take all the stuff. Don't make me have to work on that. I'll write the applications, but you handle the rest. And then, of course, it takes a lot off of Jackie too. And probably even more, because you did all the tedious stuff, trying to sort out what I screwed up. Last week I went to the Regional Conservation Partnership Conference at UMass, which is a free conference with free parking and free food. What's not to like? And that's sponsored by this nonprofit, the Highstead, something or other. And so Regional Conservation Partnership, they're like based on ecological areas. And so we're sort of like the Mass Con, but we're also sort of the Pioneer Valley, and then there's also the, Quabbin to Cardigan, and then all these different ecological regions. So I went to that, and a couple of the things were about, one of the themes was, that's the word I was trying to think of yesterday. One of the themes was affordable housing with conservation, because a lot of people say, well, they're in conflict. You're taking land off, out of the market, and that's driving up house prices. There are so many things that go into the determination of house prices. You know that. And conservation raises them a little bit just because people like living in conservation areas. You know, it's just a whole list of things that go into housing affordability and what people can, if people have the money to buy or rent. So, you know, I sat in a couple of those and you know, felt affirmed. And so anyway, that's just kind of, I think, that message is getting out to the world, and we can kind of start maybe working in that direction as well. If we can ever find somebody willing to build an affordable project in town. They always seem to like having utilities. Well, I know we don't have a lot of them.
Have we heard from the Carriage Road folks?
The last EDIC meeting that talked about it was that, well, okay, so Brissa was the entity who was going to do it. Hammond Graham is the principal who was leading that project. Hammond also has a some sort of capital corporation called Sydney Capital. Brissa said they don't want to work in Massachusetts anymore, so now Hammond is continuing as Sydney Capital. So Hammond and Mass Development and the EDIC are trying to figure out the legalities involved, because in a sense it's a whole new owner, and he still doesn't have his tax credit blessings. And so to do that without, he's looking for the what is it, affordable housing tax credits and the historic preservation tax credits, I guess, for the administration building. And whatever other financing has to be put, you know, because it's millions and millions of dollars. I mean, I just read an article in today's Gazette about the Valley CDC renovating a dead nursing home in Northampton. And, you know, what was the price? $17 million? No, I don't know. It was more than that. But they had, 17 different funding programs they had to put together to pay for that thing.
So Brissa is out,
Mm-hmm.
but all of the design work, for example, that we spent all that time, is that still viable? I mean,
I think that is still viable. If Howard wants to proceed, if he can proceed, I can't imagine him wanting to spend money to change this.
Well, and it would have to come back and be fought over again.
Yeah, but you know, site plan approval was good for 2 years, so that's February.
Ooh.
So,
What does he have to do by February in order to keep it?
Tell you that he has to show substantial progress. If he can come in here with some kind of financial commitment, I'd say that's substantial. But that'd be up to you. Usually it's like groundbreaking or something. But, you know, considering the circumstances.
Well, we had people come back to get their solar.
Yeah,
things.
and so, you know, you just submit a letter, please, you know, here are my circumstances, please continue. And then once he actually gets started in building, I think you don't have to worry about that expiring anymore.
Yeah.
He hasn't done anything there yet on the ground.
You all set? You want to briefly mention the social equity marijuana application process that you brought to the select board the other night?
Yeah, that's right. The social equity. Yeah, let's see. I'll just repeat my conversation from last night if I can remember it. In 2022, Cannabis Control Commission, or actually, you know, put forth the new state law passed to deal with social inequity because of people having from disadvantaged communities, or they have prior marijuana convictions, that kind of stuff. And so this is to, you know, help them get into the game, which just getting started in that business costs a lot of money. And so, let me see, we were supposed to have a new policy in place with a grading matrix. That was supposed to be in place last year, but we got no guidance. The state hadn't gotten their stuff together. And that finally got together, and so when that happened, we worked with our lawyer to come up with a policy. I knew it was a keyword, policy and grading matrix. And so, anybody coming in from now on would negotiate that new host community agreement, not the previous one. And then there's a whole scoring system, and 25% of that value is the score you give on social equity. And so for a social equity applicant, that person or entity has to be verified as such by the Cannabis Control Commission. So, gee, I have 2 marijuana convictions and whatever else, all minor stuff, and I'm from another disadvantaged population. Go ahead and verify me, and they would, interview me, I suppose, and get testimony or whatever. Then I'd come out and I'd say, okay, Tom, give me points towards that, and then it's the other stuff, traffic and environmental controls and security and all the things that have to go into considering these things.
It's the same application process. The only thing they've received now is a permission to get ahead of the line if there is a line.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
We don't have a line.
Yeah, we don't.
Not going to be, but we were out of compliance. We didn't have that policy in effect, and now Mr. Doug has put it in place. So we're copacetic.
Yeah, and so we just need to get it posted online.
Okay. Leonard, do you have anything else you want to share with the board?
Nothing.
Michael? Elizabeth?
I was just going to ask people to think about what happened in Amherst with their fire and sort of have that in the back of our heads when people start asking for waivers on permitting things, because it seems as though there were 5 or 6 waivers given on that project some 10 years ago that said you can be taller, you can be closer, things that impacted the ability to fight that fire.
Yeah.
And what a stroke of luck that it happened at the time of day that it happened and that nobody was hurt. Anyway, that's all I
Mark? I wanted to report back on something that we had made a recommendation to the Zoning Board of Appeals that they deny the application for the berries. That hearing was held on October 15th. The ZBA denied their ZBA appeal. It was an appeal of the buildings inspector issuing a building permit, but we had originally denied an A&R on that same lot, but it hadn't been appealed. That was denied again, so their only recourse now is to go to court. The other one that they heard at the last meeting, which is was continued and comes up here tomorrow, is chickens. There's somebody on Sunny Crest Lane, which is one of the streets on High Bluff subdivision. One of those, they're a tenth of an acre. And they've got 32 chickens in the backyard. And the zoning enforcement officer gave them a cease and desist. And they're appealing it through the ZBA right now, asking for a variance under the Dover Amendment, because the chickens are part of some type of teaching project that the resident on the property has. That'll be heard again tomorrow. It could be a rather significant movement if they allow chickens to go in there. It means that they're going to really open up all the residential areas in town having livestock on them, but that would be on a case-by-case basis. I did attend that particular appeal and spoke as an individual and pointed out that it was not a really sound way to formulate zoning policy, to be doing stuff on a spot zoning basis, a property at a time. That the whole process really should go back to some type of movement through town government and town meeting if necessary, and making sure that whatever zoning was going to be adhered to, whatever that might turn out to be in the bylaws, as they might be, would be adhered to also. So we'll find out after tomorrow, and I'll let everybody know how that particular appeal came down.
Another thing about the Dover Amendment, it exempts the use in a zone. It does not exempt dimensional requirements. Okay? This is a dimensional requirement restriction. You gotta have 40,000 square feet for livestock, which is not a big area.
But it's 4 times the size of this particular area.
Yeah.
There's some other zoning issues being looked at by other committees right now. That the Agricultural Commission is considering a regulatory scheme on disposal of animals on site. So if you have to bury a horse, which I had to do here last month, they want to have bylaw regulations on set-offs and, depth and maybe some other aesthetic issues.
Well, I think they take that up with the Board of Health. That's not a zoning issue.
I don't know. Is it a zoning issue if you're talking about dimensional requirements for where you can bury them?
Not maybe, but, that'd be making septic systems a zoning issue.
Yeah, it's a dimensional requirement between your well and your septic tank field.
How
That's a dimensional requirement. That's not zoned. That's Board
not
of Health.
zoning. That's Board of Health, yeah. I don't know. They're working on that. And then that other committee is working on possible regulations to control farm stands.
Yes.
And artisanal stands where you sell soap or flowers or whatever.
Whatever it is, yeah.
Which I don't know. Does that come into zoning? Would that have to actually be presented to us if they propose something?
Yeah, that would. Now remember that we have a grant for redoing the zoning, and I'm waiting to get the word go, and then we'll put out an RFP, take bids on it, and hire a contractor to do the job, which would, have public input, where you gotta have a ton of public input. And so they would have plenty of opportunity then to make their pitch.
We have a lot of committees in town, and it seems that they're starting to trip over each other. The last thing I wanted to mention is that the Cannabis Commission in Boston is claiming that they're going to have a social pot consumption rule out by Christmas. So we might be looking at modifying our regulations to have social marijuana cafes here in town sometime within the next 6 months, perhaps maybe by next town meeting. So they're on the cusp of having that available. I don't know what the demand in Belchertown is going to be, but if we have one of these, it's going to come forward. We're going to have to